Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here, and welcome to a video all about the Bonehawk podcast. We sat down for about 2.5 hours, and I'm sorry if you're watching the Twitch live stream. My computer died at one point, so we had to restart, and I figured we were going to end it anyways, so I edited all the questions in. If you want to see the rest, you can sign up at the Patreon. Links down below at the, I believe it's the $5 tier. You see the rest of what we talked about. But, that being said, let's just jump into it. Shiro literally popped in here like a second before we went live. So, hello, Shiro. You're on the mic.
What's up? I had to punch people to get here on time.
Wait. You literally made it like right on time. You could not have been more on time, actually.
Yeah. And since I planned in advance, I don't get the first shout out. That's cool.
That's true. No,
it pays to show up late.
We save the best for last around these parts. So also
now you're just patronizing me.
Also, Hater is here as well. Hello, Hater.
Hello, Shujinkydink.
Not like we haven't been talking for the last few minutes, anyways.
I know, right?
This is just how these things work. So we got quite a bit to unpack because we haven't really had a chance to all sit down and talk about Mortal Kombat 11 and its hypeness. You guys were all watching it in the Discord chat together live, weren't you?
I know I was at work, and I had my phone watching it. So yeah, I watched as much as I could. And,
I was there, and it always seems like a good idea at the time, but we had like 15 people in there, and everyone's talking over each other. It's cool to have a party and all the boys together, but it was like so chaotic and trying to pay attention to what was going on, and
that's
so
true.
much hype, right? People just, so many cool moments, people going crazy, and I kind of had to tune it out to even pay attention to what was happening. And I was kind of watching some of the restreams to hear some of the opinions of other people, so I had their voices as well. It was a lot to keep track of.
I must have watched like the replay of it like a billion times by now, and like every time I watched it, it seemed like I picked up something new that I missed the first time.
I have watched, because I've been watching everybody else's, like, the vlogs, whatever.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of the restreams to kind of see what some of the streamers had to say, like, as they were reacting to it. So getting some of those insights, and I'm still not sick of seeing it. I've seen the same 7 characters and the same fucking matches and all that stuff, and I don't even care. Like, I'll just watch it ad nauseum.
Need your fill, man. It needs your fill. So I guess we can probably start there. So with the reveal, we got Sonya, Scarlet, Baraka, Scorpion, Sub-Zero,
Raiden,
Garrus,
and Raiden.
Garros.
I was really, for some reason, I really struggled to predict because I want to say it Jarrus for some reason.
It's Garrus. It says this is how you'll remember it. It's Garrus. I saw Big D say on Twitter. Big D's been calling him Gary for short.
Gary.
So that's how I remember it, and that's how we should refer to him from here on out. We'll just call him
Gary. A Mortal Kombat character. Oh no, not Gary.
You're right. Gary, Gary the Time Lord. How ominous.
Gary the Time Lord.
What?
The omnipotent bender of time, Gary Tremble.
It's like a low-budget Doctor Who villain.
He's like that crazy drunk dude down the hall. It's like, look out, I am Gary.
Oh man, if we want to start there, he looks amazing. Like, how does NRS do it? New character from scratch. He looks awesome. He sounds awesome. His moves, like everything, just a pleasure to watch.
I think they watched reruns of Stargate.
Oh, he does have that Stargate feel, for sure.
When I saw him, I was like, he looks like that guy from Stargate.
No, I feel like that was a lot of people's first impression.
Yeah, I haven't seen Stargate, so I don't know. I don't get the reference, unfortunately, but I can imagine Stargate. I think Stargate has something to do with like a big portal or something, doesn't it?
I mean, it's named after it, the Stargate.
Yeah.
That's literally all I know about the show. I just ruined this conversation. Let's keep going. So one thing I wanted to ask about young Gary here is so apparently he has that time control move where he can move the timer backwards
or forwards.
What do you guys think about that?
I felt like that was like an Injustice Gear move or something, but it sounds like it's going to be a competitive thing. It'll be interesting to see what.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I don't really know like what moves will be in like the tournament variations, or even if you can do custom variations in tournament. Like I don't really know where we stand with that at this point. So
So
This
you
is very
can't
true.
remove it. So you can remove 30 seconds or add 30 seconds to the clock, but you cannot drop the clock lower than 10 seconds.
Oh.
So if you're at like 25 seconds, it's going to jump to 9 if you use that move. Who knows what the startup or recovery is going to be? I've been thinking a lot about that sort of stuff and how it's going to contribute to the meta, like how SKARLET can kind of she's got moves that will damage both you and her at the same time. And those could be ways for her to get herself into fatal blow range, right? For a little clutch moment at the end or something.
It's true.
Oh, that's not something that I ever considered. That's interesting. Let's jump to her in a second with that. So with his time change move, I was curious about how, if it just immediately drops the timer, or if like he has to sit there, like, you know, in like Liu Kang's Duelist, when he like heals himself and he does this weird dance thing and it's only healing while he's doing the move. If it's something like that, where it would be like super easy to hit him out of.
I don't know. I saw Ketchup and Mustard just did their breakdown of him. They put on YouTube yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. And I saw it in action. I was expecting like 70 frame startup or something like that, or some massive recovery. It did not look like it had either of those things. But again, old build, who knows how they'll balance that or what it'll be in the end. Like,
Yeah, I feel
that'll be one of the questions we take into the beta. To get more of.
That is one of those moves that they could either like, it's just genius, or they could like really mess it up. Like really mess it up. So I
mean, it's cool. You got the life lead, take 30 seconds off the clock, and then they're forced to come to you. You're forcing movement, right? Like,
aggressive turtling.
It's such a cool mind game. Like, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 11. I am so excited to see all this stuff in action, and once people get crispy with their characters, and how all that's going to kind of settle.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure y'all saw Ketchup and Mustard's little combo exhibition video.
Yeah,
that was great.
I feel almost everybody needs to watch that.
Yeah, everyone's saying like, "Oh, there's no combos in MK11,"
Yeah.
and then they just come out of the gate like, "Oh, really? Hold my beer." Like, here we go.
I mean, and that just goes to show, and that's them messing with the game for 2 hours instead of the half hour, 45 minutes that the LA Reveal players got or something, right?
Yeah, they got a lot more time with it.
To explore those sorts of things, and I can't even imagine the shock those guys went through. Here's your game for the first time. You have 30 minutes to learn a couple potato combos or something, or do whatever it is that you need to do, and then you're going to go out in front of all these, 50,000 people on stream. And that's just the main NRS stream, not to mention all the restreams, plus all the people that were there.
Yeah.
And go perform, right?
And then
And
apparently
people
they also
just
had
ran
to
with it.
sleep in a very cramped hotel too.
So, kudos to all those dudes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's not going to be an accurate representation of what the game is going to be once people have some time to dig in and figure some things out. And
no,
like
I think
Shiro
they-
just said, just showing the little combo exposition that Ketchup and Mustard put up just shows the difference between 45 minutes and 2 hours with a character.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really jealous. I wish I got to play the game for that much time. I had to stand in just the general lineup to play, and I think I got 40 minutes in total, because you got to go in for 20 minutes at a time, and then it'd kick you out when your 20 minutes were done. Then you had to go stand in line again. But I learned a lot in the little amount of time that I playing with Baraka. I really, if the curse of Baraka is that he always starts out really good, and then they just destroy him in an update or something. He was actually my main in Mortal Kombat 9 when the game first came out, and then they nerfed him, and I was like, okay, well that's fine. And then they nerfed him again, and I was like, well, what the hell, NRS? What are you doing? What did Brock ever do to anybody? And then they,
Sort of racial Tarkatan thing.
Exactly. And then they nerfed him a third time. I was like, okay, fine, I'll give up. I guess I'll play somebody else. So that's when I switched to Quan Chi.
And then he was a total jobber in MKX. They didn't do him good at all.
No, he was in the story mode for like 2 minutes, and then he just got. It was like he was an excuse just to do a fatality in story mode.
But they did him right. Well, like there's that Ed Boon interview. I can't remember who it was, and that was like their easiest decision. He said people were so pissed off that he was killed in story mode, and he looked like he could have been playable, but he wasn't in the game, that they wanted to put him in. It was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The systemic oppression of the Tarkatans.
Seriously, they're weird. That weird lipless race. How are they making M sounds and stuff?
We'll never know. It's probably where the hate comes from.
How do you feel about his new teeth?
I like it. I like it. It adds more of a, I don't know, it gives him a little bit more personality. You know, before he kind of looked like a mask, but now it looks a lot more.
Looks like a face.
It looks like a face. Yeah, it doesn't look as, I don't know, as unreal, I guess. But
I'm sure you guys noticed he sounds quite similar to a reptile. That voice.
Yeah.
He's got that same kind of voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fatality was sick though.
Dude, that's the first fatality that we saw, right? That was our...
yeah, I think so.
He just...
So that was like hype moment number 1 once the reveal started, because they had that, first exclusive gameplay. We see Scorpion, and then we see Raiden, which we've seen before in the trailer. Then all of a sudden Baraka's there.
I know, I was like...
That was our first what the fuck moment, and then you get that little glimpse of Scarlet's little blood weapon, and I was like, I knew right away it was going to be Scarlet.
I was super surprised they brought both of those characters back, actually. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I don't think either of those made any of the leaked lists that came out before either, so it was like, what? That didn't even cross my mind as a thing that could happen.
I think that goes to show how much fan service is going to be in this roster. Like, one can only hope. The characters that you see all over Reddit, you see all over Twitter, and people have been talking about for the last 4 to 7 years. When did Mortal Kombat 9 come out? 2011.
Yeah.
So that means mocap is coming back.
Oh,
no. Oh my gosh. No joke characters. Not funny.
Well, one thing that was nice about Baraka was that they originally said that no characters that died in MKX were going to come back for MK11, and now with Baraka, they've pretty much opened the floodgates, right? So now
you can't hold them to their word.
But what if he's from a timeline where he doesn't die?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, they've got this loophole now to where, well, we still meant what we said, but this is Baraka circa 1997.
Yeah. A very good vintage Baraka.
Right. The Baraka that just bought, Dink and I were just talking before the stream, the Baraka that bought the Backstreet Boys album.
Yeah. I want it. I was actually going to start the stream out with that song, but then I was like, demonetization's a thing, so I can't. Oh, man. That's great. Okay, so we've covered
Baraka great again.
We've covered Garrus and Baraka. Let's talk about Scarlet, because I know you're super excited about that, Hater.
I'm super excited about her.
I dig her new design. It was funny because there was this guy on Twitter who was like, "Oh, the SJWs won and Scarlet up."
I saw that.
He just got completely annihilated in the comments. It was great.
The only somewhat valid argument I see, I'm surprised he didn't delete that tweet. He was just like, "Fuck it," and it just kept going and going and going. Like, oh my gosh.
No, they actually spent 3 minutes on creating a costume.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It was the same sort of argument when she was in the MKX comics. Because her whole lore in, like, Mortal Kombat and stuff was that she was powered by blood. And she would absorb your blood through her skin, and that's what made her powerful.
Yeah.
And so that's why she dressed skimpy. Like, that was some sort of justification for it. And then in the MKX comics, she was not showing a lot of skin, and there was a lot of that same sort of thing, like, oh, hey, what the fuck? Not that I fapped to this or anything, even though I probably do. She needs to be more naked because she absorbs your blood, through her skin. Like, who gives a shit, man?
Yeah.
How much... Okay, so we're in this world of dark fantasy where all this, like, we just kill each other over and over again. There's magic. There's monsters, there's demons, there's gods, whatever, and that's what you can't suspend your disbelief for? That's what you're gonna get hung up on? Is that Scarlet's wearing too much clothes?
Yeah.
Like...
Hey, we never know. This new outfit might be made out of a special material that's very porous for blood.
Oh my shit, she looks amazing. I even like her new little, like, pixie haircut. I think it's cool.
I'm digging it. I was a fan of... She got, like, a little headgear on at one point. I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought my first reaction to that, like, I even said that in Discord, was like, why does she look like Amelia Earhart? They gave her, like, those goggles. It almost looked like an aviator hat. Now that I've had time to digest it, it's more of a hijab or something like that. Or
I like that cape she got, though.
Dude, it's cool. She looks so cool. She's got a lot of Enchantress vibes, like the Dark Lady.
She's gonna have a lot of
magic
cool
user. She's got the modulated voice. Like they did her so well. I am so excited for the rest of the roster to see what the rest of these characters look like, who they are, and what their design is going to be. Because so far, I'm super impressed.
I was gonna say, I think the one thing that I like the most about her base character design with the costume is, out of all the other current announced roster, I think her character really displays how like graphically good this game looks.
No kidding.
Oh, it's
and
beautiful.
the variations or the gear pieces where she's not wearing her mask, where her face is exposed, and during her fatal blow where she like eviscerates you up the middle and she's got that little grin on her face, like she's taking so much pleasure in it.
She's loving it. It's great.
Those little details go so far. Like, I am in love with this character.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the fact that they finally changed engines for this game, like, it just makes the whole, it makes such a difference for the whole like arena, everything you're in. It's not just like background and foreground. It just feels a little bit more immersed, I guess, what I would say. So that's Scarlet. Sub-Zero. One thing that I noticed is I'm getting very MKX like vibes from watching Sub-Zero's gameplay, because he's got that slide that like meterously launches, and he's got overhead and low combo starters
It only meteorously launches in the corner.
in the corner.
Otherwise, it's going to push them away. But you got a chance to do it, and apparently it's going to be pretty tight execution. I saw some AI stuff doing it, and I don't remember who it was. They were talking about how they saw the AI do that to them, and so they spent like 15 minutes of their very limited time trying to duplicate it, and it was just super tight. They fit like a standing one after that. But we'll see. But he definitely, all signs point to he's going to be kind of a 50-50 mixed character from what I've heard people saying. He's going to have overhead starters, low starters, but that's going to be his game plan. So he'll probably be balanced out in some other way.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll figure out a way to get around that, because that was one of the biggest complaints about MKX. But at the same time, I see why they did it with a character like Sub-Zero, because he's just so popular that it'll help the casual players kind of get into the gameplay a little bit more.
Yeah, right. I mean, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are pretty much the Ryu and Ken of Mortal Kombat. So
I agree. Like, so you've got the ninja side of it, then you got like the Shaolin monk side of it, like the Kung Lao and Liu Kang. Liu Kang's kind of been the hero since the beginning. He's won all the initial Mortal Kombats and all of that sort of stuff, and has found his place in the timeline or whatever, but I don't know. Like, you hear people complain a lot about 50-50s in MKX, but a lot of that's prefaced by run-in 50-50. You're not gonna be able to just knock somebody down and run in and force them to guess on Wake Up what's coming. Like, hopefully. Like, you're obviously not gonna be able to run in, but hopefully you're not gonna find yourself in a situation where you're just gonna get mixed to death, right? One wrong decision and you're just playing a guessing game until your life is gone.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's why I'm glad that they went with a lot more neutral, because from when I was playing Baraka, like, Baraka has like 50-50s, but nothing really launches. So like he has like this long lunging overhead that you don't get anything from, and then he has like a short low that's kind of fast, but it's not, you can't really combo from it unless you get a crushing blow or something.
Right. So we'll see. There's that gutted move that was missing from the LA reveal for the competitors and stuff. I'm not sure if you guys got to play that in the Weeb room.
The Weeb room.
But I don't know. I heard that his fatal blow is an overhead. So once he's at 30% life, he's going to have an overhead mix that is going to do a lot of damage.
Yep, for sure. But again, with it being the fatal blow, he only gets it once a game, right? So he's not going to be able to.
Only gets it one time.
Keep per match.
Out. Scorpion. Scorpion looked pretty Scorpion to me. He didn't really surprise me with much. Just kind of what I was expecting.
I think he looks a special kind of aggressive. Obviously not a Vortex character like he is in MKX. Probably just the way that the game's meta in general is kind of like going, but for the first time in a while, I'm actually kind of interested in playing him. I liked what I saw a lot. Like, a lot of his moves I watched during his kind of breakdown and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think he looks super cool. And he's got that gear skin that takes off his hood, and he's got a samurai knot. I think it looks so awesome. I love it. Oh my gosh, he looks so cool.
The costume's pretty dope.
everybody in the reveals so far that we've seen just looks like the gear opportunities like flowing through my head is just like, oh, I can't wait to get and like just start playing around and dress them up and shit.
I'll spend more time doing that on day one than I will doing anything else, probably.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a vast improvement over the gear system from Injustice. I'm hoping it's... Well, because I don't think... Is the gear going to have stats? I don't remember if they mentioned that.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, they didn't mention that, but I mean, they do have that same health system that Injustice had with the, everybody had 1,000 health.
Yeah.
That would be easy for me if everyone just had 1,000 health. I mean, I don't want to be doing math and shit. But I mean,
yeah, doing math. I mean, it is annoying in Injustice. Like, your combo does X amount on Superman, but if it's against Supergirl, it's different. Like,
yeah, it's like, why does it even matter at the end of the day? You're just...
It's so hard to tell at the glance. The bar's the same size for everybody, and I'm just like, when I play MKX, I'm kind of like looking at the notches on there, and I know that my conversions... I have a better idea whether I'd better be prepared to spend that bar at the end just to make sure I kill or not than I ever did in Injustice because of that variance, even how slight. Like, how far does a magic pixel go?
Yeah, because they just leave it at percentage, and I don't think the percentage changes depending on character, if I'm not mistaken.
I really like the change to the life bars that they did in this game. It's very nice and clear when you're below 30%. I mean, it is an MKX too, but you know, I feel like adding just that little extra, like making it larger at that point, was a smart move. And then you know that your fatal blow is going to kill in that range.
Somebody I like when some health bars seem to do that, like SoCal 6. When you're at that certain part, I know there's some character properties change. For the most part, that's kind of the kill range for Critical Edge.
Right.
Unless you're a Xianghua main.
Well, no. Even if it's as long as it's raw. You Xianghua mains trying to do that shit from throws or whatever, you deserve to have that shit scaled to death. Somebody mentioned in the chat how horrible Cassie's face looks, and I think everybody needs to go back to how the faces looked before Injustice, like even in the beta, just a couple months before release. Even after the game released and the changes they made to like Wonder Woman and Aquaman and stuff.
I remember.
I have no doubt they will be refining that stuff.
I remember in the beta, Supergirl's win pose, and the camera's like directly down on her face, and she's just like derpy as fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Was it Gurr who posted the tweet where he took I think it was Supergirl and Wonder Woman pre-beta, and then Superman, and also Cassie Cage, and it was like, one of these is not like the other.
Right. Somebody did. I have faith that will in the coming. Like, I think Sonya's face could probably use a little work and stuff as well.
Actually, my friend randomly messaged me. He's like, so what's with everybody saying Sonya Blade's face being meh in MK11? I was like, because it does look kind of meh.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I noticed right away wasn't even the face. Like, her head is like a sphere. It's like a circle.
And
it looks really weird to me. Like, just the shape of her head. She looks like a shorty, too. She looks like she's like 4'11".
Is it wrong of me to blame Ronda Rousey for it? Because I think they were just trying to make her kind of look a bit like Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's an interesting strategy.
Yeah.
So we're kind of transitioning to Sonya. Before we do that real quick, I just wanted to take a quick second to acknowledge the chat because they've been going nuts while we've just been talking.
I don't think we're done talking about Sub-Zero yet either.
There's a chat. You're streaming this, aren't you?
I'm streaming this live, man. I was wondering.
Man.
He's not even in. Yeah, so don't pull a PewDiePie on me, please. Get demonetized.
What? Oh, no.
Nah, Mr. Spectacular is in the house. Hawks89420 says, what's with the two different Scorpions? I'm assuming because the timelines, right? Because like that's what they were talking about. How like one Scorpion of the future goes back and talks to the Scorpion of the past. And Shiro with the sub.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I gotta get you them views.
At the game reveal, we saw even like young Kung Lao, and young Liu Kang. So again, our Shaolin monks pair or whatever, fighting against their Revenant. So as MKX left off, they're both Revenants. And then we see these human, very much younger versions of them fighting each other. And I think in the trailer with the two Scorpions was just alluding to that. They didn't come right out and say, hey, timelines, but it could definitely be inferred because we have a very modern, a very different Scorpion at the beginning, and once he's obviously dead, you see that yellow foot, you see the yellow armor on the foot, and I thought it was going to be Cyrex for some reason. I was like thinking to myself, how is Cyrex going to fit into this?
Yeah, why would they?
And then it turns out it was like old school Scorpion.
It's like
so,
MK3 Scorpion or Ultimate MK3.
I think it was a blend. I think it's somebody's saying like his robe was from one and his mask was from another, but definitely a throwback to an old Scorpion, and I think that was the point. Get people talking about that and thinking about that, and forget everything we said about Get Dead characters never coming back. You're welcome, Melina fans.
I was actually going to suggest some questions regarding the Liu Kang Kung Lao thing, but I think it just might open a can of worms into a whole other topic. So maybe I'll go back to that later.
Let's just get through the roster first, and then we can go into that because I have some things to bring up with that as well. Okay, so did we have some more stuff to say about Sub-Zero?
I missed Sub-Zero's icy eyes, and I think the bandana physics leave a lot to be desired so far. I'm not sure how I feel about his default new hat. Like,
yeah,
I think it's a nod to traditional like Chinese royalty, but it looks a little Robin Hood to me. Don't martyr me. Like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that design. Like, if I play Sub-Zero, that's the first fucking thing I'm unequipping. Whatever skin doesn't have that hat will be the very first decision I make.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, because, like, the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's really cool, but the more I see it, I'm like, that's really cool? I don't know.
I'm not feeling it.
I think I need to warm up to it. But, because quite frankly, they... At least from what I've seen, they haven't shown a lot of Sub-Zero. They show a lot of Scorpion, a lot of Scarlet, a lot of everybody else. I feel honestly, I've been forgetting that Sub-Zero's in it.
That's because no one played him during the 8-player exposition thing. Exhibition. Nobody played him. They did at the LA reveal. I've seen quite a bit if you go back and watch that one.
I do like that move though, where I don't know what it officially is. I kind of just call it the ice shurikens, where he just kind of opens his palm and you just see the little icicles shoot out, a little flurry.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That looks pretty sick. I like that.
I don't know. I was kind of thinking about what you use. It looks like because it doesn't knock you down or anything. It could be used for like a restand maybe in the corner, but I also don't know what the properties are against a jumping opponent.
Maybe it's just a really annoying projectile.
You could chip with
just to keep you from walking forward or something.
It could be.
I don't know if it's a high or a mid or what. Like, I really want this to come out. Like this. The speculation is really fun leading up to the reveal, and now that we have some information, but not all the information, I'm finding it really, really daunting. Like,
there's just so many so many more questions now that we know a little bit about it than there was before.
I've spent the last week just trying to, people are so certain that certain things are going to be a certain way based on what little information that we do have.
Yeah.
Well,
and
welcome to gaming.
I know. But it's just, I mean, I made a tweet leading up to this, like, enjoy this, like, this is a very special part of, like, pre-release, this anticipation. Everyone wants their characters, everyone wants to know how the game's going to play, and it's really exciting. And now that we've kind of breached that, it's like the opposite. I'm on the other side of the bell curve to where I don't feel great about it anymore. I just want to know everything now.
As you're wearing your little Mortal Kombat tinfoil hat.
Seriously.
Big time, man.
And Boone's gonna deliver, I promise.
We'll see.
Boone's got our back.
I'm trying to stay open about anything, like, and I feel like people are inferring like some really interesting things that I would like to see, other things that I hope aren't true.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm just trying to stay open-minded as far as all that's concerned.
It also doesn't help when the head guy is a major troll.
Major troll.
One of the biggest
asshole.
Yeah, totally.
What kind of person, what kind of sadist gets pleasure out of stuff like that?
Yeah.
Mr. Ed Boon himself. That's who.
Man.
Okay, so
So who's next?
I think Sonya is all that's left, isn't it?
No,
we only talked about the face.
Oh, we didn't talk about Raiden. Even though I'm playing Raiden on stream right now, which is kind of funny. Sonya's gameplay. Not really. She looked like she's kind of got the mix. Watching Sonic Fox play her, she's got that same multi-hitting low that she has in MKX.
Everything that I've heard people say about her, it sounds like she's going to be kind of similar to her MKX, as in she's going to have overhead starters, low starters, but she's kind of stubby.
Okay.
Like, she's going to have mix, but she's going to have to...
That sounds like covert ops, Sonya.
Yeah.
Which scares
They'll
me.
be like the Rousey.
But she looks like she's got cool tools. Jeez. The second I saw that little drone, I was like, oh, is that going to be a poison ivy turret? Fuck my life. But it looks like you manually have to shoot it, which is good. But I think that's a really cool addition. I'm not big on the special forces. I like the Dark Ladies. I like the magic. I like the monsters and stuff like that. I've never been big on the mundane, real world, like guns and drones and bombs and things like that.
Yeah.
Like in story mode with Shang Tsung and Kano in Mortal Kombat 9, and they're like shooting those rocket launchers like right before Smoke confronts them. I'm like, that is dumb as shit. Oh my god, way to take me out of the element. Ugh. I don't get into that sort of stuff that much, but I'm really happy for Sonya fans. It looks like she's going to be strong. It looks like they're going to get what they want, but she's not really my cup of tea personally.
That image felt so like Rob Liefeld when you mentioned that. So 90s.
Oh, the rocket launchers?
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. You know what I'm talking about, right?
How else do you fight a?
Are you gonna tell me you watched that and you were like,
Rocket
fuck
launcher.
Yeah?
America.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Right.
Just give everybody rocket
It's been a
launchers.
while since I saw the MK9 story. It was like years ago. It was a YouTube video that they just took all the cutscenes together. So
Right.
Like I marathoned it. It's all a blur. No.
Oh, how could you forget? Do you know what I'm talking about, Dink? Someone's out there's got to know
Yeah, I
what
know
I'm
what you're
talking
talking
about.
about, because it's when Kano goes to Outworld and he's trying to sell all these weapons
Like-
to Shang Tsung.
Right.
And it's an Outworld that just makes it even more worse.
Yeah, it's an Outworld.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
If I remember correctly, one of the Tarkatans actually like fires one off or something. And it's like never in my life did I think that I would see a Tarkatan shooting a freaking.
I don't remember that part, but it sounds tragic and hilarious.
Yeah,
Same
I mean,
time.
it might be just something I made up in my head. I'm not. Now I want to play through the MK9 story mode again. I've been trying to play through the MKX one on my channel. I still haven't got past like the 3rd chapter. I'm gonna start the MK9 one.
The Tarkatans gaining a newfound admiration for the Second Amendment.
Yeah, while we're still on the topic of Tarkatans, even though we already kind of talked about Baraka and his new design, like his new teeth and stuff, like very, I'm glad they did that. It was like giving Melina lips in Mortal Kombat X, so she's just not these big teeth with eyeballs and a nose. Like, it really made her look a lot more elegant without her mask. Say what you will about how she ruined the game for you.
She did.
I'm talking to, that's the royal you. Most
royal
people
you.
seem to have that sentiment. You love her or you hate her.
I was gonna say shout outs to Mason. I know he loves Melina.
Oh my gosh. I love the character. I love the... I was talking to Aquaman yesterday. I was kind of giving him my history in Mortal Kombat. My love for Melina going into it, and I wanted to play her. He's like, alright, call's over. Nope. He just... Sorry.
That's funny.
Like,
Rule 1 of MKX, play Melina.
Oh, wow.
No, but she has a cool design. If she is in, I just
Oh,
hope
yeah.
she's toned down a little bit. The low profiling stuff and a lot of the other sorts of things that are... Like, bitch, you're getting out of my mids. I'm pressuring you. With the mids, it's gotta have just a ridiculous hitbox.
Oh,
Anyway,
speaking of
play
Melina
Mortal Kombat.
players,
Oh, Rex, thanks for the sub, man. Oh my God,
Oh.
dog. Thanks for the cheers, taking a spot back at the #1 cheer spot. Pretty exciting.
Nice.
I would be surprised if Melina wasn't in the game, honestly, because
She's so popular.
she's
She
so
can't be.
popular. She's so popular. Like if she's
She
not in the
can't
main
not be in
roster,
the game.
they'll make her DLC, which is kind of a dick move, but I
I mean,
can see it.
sort of. Like, I feel like there's a trend, right? If you're part of the story, whether you're a jobber or a whatever, like the way Aaron Black and Baraka and all that stuff were at MKX, if you have a place in the story, I feel like you make it to the main roster. I just said Baraka, even though he wasn't even in the game playable, so bad example. But
Well,
Aaron Black, I
ish.
feel like is an example that gets brought up a lot. Ferret.
oh man, yeah, Aaron. Well,
You get like one little cutscene with them, and like that's it. Like,
I
okay,
forget
was that even worth
references.
doing? And then for characters they want in the game that aren't part of the story are what ends up in DLC, like Tremor and Triborg and Bo Raicho and things like that. So
I do actually hope that this DLC will contain a good chunk of actual Mortal Kombat characters.
I think it's going to be exactly as we've seen. It's going to be...
Yeah.
We're going to have
You get,
4
like,
guest
one-
characters, and the rest will be original MK characters.
Yeah, like are they? You think they'll do packs of 4 again, like 3 and 1, 3 MK characters and 1 guest character?
One of those quote-unquote leaks said 6 characters, but I don't buy any of those.
Yeah, it's
The only one was the real one that had the box art in it, and Ronda Rousey, and that was the one that looked the most legit anyway, leading up or like right after the Video Game Awards thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as they revealed that box art, they're like, okay, so this one's real. But I feel like intuitively a lot of people thought that it was anyway, and all the leaks right after that was like, all right, here's the roster. It's going to be new character Garrus, new character Kronika, you know, and then, you know, my fanboy wish list, and they just use those elements that we know are going to be certain, at least in the back of our minds, to make it seem legit.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was kind of my consensus on it too. So it's I don't know. There's always somebody that quote unquote leaks something, and it's usually bullshit. But I mean, I don't know. I don't remember hearing about the Kronika thing before she was actually.
It's
officially-
Kronika.
Kronika.
Hard O. Kronika.
Ooh, never used the hard O.
Oh, I'll use my hard O.
I think
Kronika.
I think it was True Underdog who's like he strongly believes Kronika's not going to be a playable character because there's some speculation that she probably will be. She's a boss character.
That's one of those things I was just talking about, right? Like, but and the arguments like Shinnok versus corrupted Shinnok and Brainiac versus boss Brainiac, I think she will be playable because, for one thing, they were just talking about going back to the Baraka thing. They're not going to do an NPC that you play against. They're not going to do that anymore. If you're fighting against somebody, they're going to be playable in the game. We're obviously going to fight against it. This is what I think anyway. Like, that's my argument why I think that she is. Other people think that she's just going to be too similar to Garrus, and he's already got the time stuff, but who knows what kind of spin they'll put on it.
See, that was,
How many different times have we seen 2 cryomancers in a game, or 2 fire users, or 2 people that primarily use guns or something like that? I
think
wouldn't
if anything-
underestimate NetherRealm to come up with something unique for her.
I think if anything, like even if she is playable, what they should probably do is kind of like some games will have boss characters, but you know you can't play them in unranked or tournament or something like that. They're just like, here's a character, have fun.
Well, like what they did with Inferno and Soul Calibur 6 or something like that.
Yeah, or like the older Guilty Gear games when like Cliff and Justice were like super broke. Like you could play as them, but you go to any tournaments, they're not going to allow it.
Well, like the previous Mortal Kombat, it was like Shao Kahn. You couldn't play as Shao Kahn.
Yeah. Didn't you have to like put the codes or? I don't know.
I think you could as like a like I don't know. Somebody somewhere is calling us all dumbasses for not knowing that. But
one of
Yeah, right.
my theory was that Kronika wasn't going to be playable, but like Garrus was like basically what she would have been if she was playable, because if she has like all these abilities and she can like she's trying to overpower Raiden, then I mean I just it's hard to put her on the same wavelength as like Sonya, you know.
they can balance that out though. Look at like Injustice or any other Mortal Kombat. Somebody like Ermac versus somebody like even Jack, so MK9 story mode, right? It took nothing for him to just, alright, you're levitated and blew off your arms.
Right.
Like, but you gotta have a game. Like, it's a little ridiculous, no matter what the pills are or whatever in the Injustice story, that Harley Quinn can take off Superman, like, can take on Superman IRL. Like,
Yeah.
just getting pummeled over and over, laser after laser. I mean, we're playing a game where you're getting stabbed through the head in the middle of a round, and you go on, you're not impaired at all. You're getting your back broken. They even show it. They even show your vertebrae shattering. Yet you're still walking around completely unaffected. It's just part of the flair, part of the... I don't know. I don't like this sort of... if you had a force by hand, if you challenged me to say yes or no, will she be playable or not, I'm leaning on the side of yes, I believe that she will be, but I don't know. I won't know until everybody else knows for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that. From there, let's move on to some of the new mechanics that they put into the game.
You skipped Raiden.
Oh fuck, right. We got talking for so long, I forgot about Raiden.
I know.
And again, I'm playing
Yeah.
Raiden on. Maybe it's because I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, why do we need to talk
You
about it?
know, literally talked about him.
First thing, Raiden's taller than he has been. He actually looks like a god now.
Yeah, I like that.
Doesn't he look taller?
I wonder how that if that'll affect his hitbox with anything. That was my
He
first
looks more
thought.
brooding. Sure.
But I guess, you know, there's big body characters in MKX too, right? Like Ferritor and Goro. But then there's some
Could be
combos
the improved
more.
posture. I don't know. He looks like he's standing up straight a lot more.
Maybe he got one of
And
those
some of
Doctor
those.
Ho things.
Yeah.
He looks
Do you guys
cool.
have Doctor Ho down there? Is that a thing?
Dr. Ho?
Yeah,
He
he's
finally learned how to
Americans may be
stand up
robbed
straight
of it.
with his shoulders back.
took a posture class or something.
yeah.
Raiden,
Balancing
the Elder
both.
God chiropractor.
Elder God chiropractor. I was.
I did like the
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I like that move. It looks like it might be a command grab where he's kind of like walking but like electrocuting you at the same time.
Oh, that's his throw.
Oh, it's his throw. Ah, it looks sick.
That's his throw animation. It looks
Yeah,
sick.
It's,
for
it's
sure.
pretty dope for sure. One thing I really like about him is his anti-air thunder or lightning toss thing. I was using that a lot when I was playing as him, and it's very effective against jump-ins.
Are you talking about like that Black Adam-esque, like angled lightning?
Yeah,
Or the
he
up
angles
one?
it up. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
It's really a good space control. Keeps them out of the air from pretty much like 3/4 screen and farther. So it's he's got a lot of interesting zoning tools too, like his lightning that is like that Black Adam type stuff where he throws the lightning at the ground, but he can control where it goes.
Right, it doesn't track.
It doesn't
it's
track.
going to be another, like, close, mid, far, very far, or something like that.
Yeah. I
But,
think there's only 3 of them, close, mid, and far, from what I played, but it's
The changes we've seen with the MKX Legacy characters, so Sonya, Raiden, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, who did I forget? I feel like I forgot somebody. Anyway, look at how different they are.
totally
Just in their design, and they were saying like the inputs, like nobody has a string that's even the same as it's been before. I hope this is a good indication of like, even if your favorite character from MKX makes it an MK11,
yeah. It's
you're gonna have to relearn how to play them in some capacity.
Oh,
Like things
yeah.
are gonna be different. It's not gonna be like Injustice to Injustice 2, where a lot of it was legacy, even the strings and everything.
Yeah, he like Raiden, for like one thing that was neat was he kept his happy slaps that he always had, but they don't combo at all. So he's still
The back
got,
two?
Yeah,
Is it still back two?
It's still back two. Yeah, it's the same input.
Oh,
I know. So,
that's awesome.
So yeah, he kept that, but like instead of comboing, he's just kind of like stunned for a minute until they get up. So I mean, but he has a low starter, so it's a 50-50. But I mean, he can't really get anything off of the
Seems to
overheads.
be the balance, right? You've got a 50-50. One leads to a combo. The other one just leads to a knockdown. The one that leads to damage is the one that's unsafe. The one that doesn't is the one that's safe or safer. Like, I feel like that's a good compromise. Like, that's a good balance. Like, it's a way to annoy your opponent,
And
to
he-
keep them guessing. Because, man, 10% or 8% is still 8%. I'll do that all day. I say that when I play Kotal Kahn, right? I'll just grab you all day if you let me. I'll just kill you 10 or 15% at a time. I don't care. I'm not looking for 50% every time I touch you.
Yeah, it's true. And I like the way that he uses his staff in his combos. It's got some really good range. It's gonna be good for footsies. His main staff string starts as a high, which I found I got crushed quite a few times trying to just throw it out there. Which I was like, oh okay, well that's not bad. Can't just spam it because it's got a lot of range. You'd pretty much have to catch somebody like standing.
He had that one lightning rod variation at the reveal where he was using it a lot in his strings. Like, it was standing vertical and he was like pushing it forward. A lot of cool swaggy stuff that were very like staff centric.
Yeah, and I think the focus on weapons is really cool that they've gone to for this one because they had like the weapon variation or whatever in like Armageddon and Deception, and I like that they kind of brought it back, but like not officially, It's just.
I'm
part of
glad
the
it's
set.
it's not like I'm glad it doesn't have like that weird style change anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm actually watching some Raiden gameplay right now, actually.
Nice.
It does look pretty cool. And
Scarlet's got her variety of ones too, right? She's got the little whip move. She's got all the other, like, she's like a Red Lantern.
whip,
She's got
the
those
scythe.
constructs.
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty sick.
Oh, she looks so cool.
Makes a javelin. I'm actually watching her fatal blow right now.
Dude, it's so good. The look on that person's face when that goes in through their mouth and out through the back of their head.
Yeah,
It looks the best on Sonya. Like, the look on her face just makes me fucking laugh. It's comedy. Oh my gosh. So funny.
Yeah, like they didn't see it coming. There you go.
Yeah, right.
I had to meme that on Twitter too. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's a
did.
joke.
Whenever I get a retweet from Dink, all of a sudden I get all this traffic. No one gives a shit what I have to say unless Dink shares it.
Hopefully I can get you some followers and stuff.
No, it's happened to me like 3 or 4 times. Hey, as long as I amuse you, that's what matters.
Yeah, you tweet good stuff, so I always make sure like other people need to see this.
That's funny, especially if there's some sort of sexual innuendo to be inferred.
Always.
Right.
Dink
Extrapolated.
Dink after dark. Well, yeah, I'm a lot less PG after on Twitter because I don't have to worry about
Ain't no monetization there.
Yeah.
Right.
Post all the memes I want.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's the roster.
So that's the roster. We went through the roster. So now let's talk a little bit about the new gameplay mechanics, and let's start with the flawless block. What did you guys think of that one?
I think it's gonna be interesting. It's like, oh, they're learning from other games. I think it's just gonna add a whole new layer of complexity to it, because in most games, when it comes to punishing, certain moves are tricky, and you learn, oh, I have to just defend in order to punish it, like the most optimal way. So that's gonna be interesting for that. Personally, this is just a preference thing. It's going to be annoying for me personally because I'm going to have to press a block button. But
I think it's something that I'll only ever get on accident. I don't see myself like, that's how I'm going to get myself killed, is trying to flawless block or perfect block or something. Like, I don't know. It's something I think is going to be a little bit more advanced. We're going to see it in high level play. It's an additional layer that is a deeper layer of the game.
It looks like it's going to be pretty effective for getting around zoning too. Like if you can flawless block, a projectile or something, and then you use that kind of frame advantage to move in.
Yeah. It looks like you kind of get like a little. I'm used to a lot of games like having the character like flash completely white when they do the just defend block. It looks like you kind of get like a white aura like right in front of the character when you do it. I see it shows on the side, like it actually says flawless block, but I personally never pay attention to that shit.
I don't either. It's something you kind of have to. I also know they put hit sparks in the game.
Yeah.
Like other games have, and I see some people complaining, thinking it's taking away from the artistic value. And I'm like, shit. Any help to hit confirm anything, I'm all about it.
That's the thing. Like, you need visual cues sometimes. That's my main concern. Oh, geez. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing regular block strings, and they still kind of has like that weird white aura. So
that was one thing I never really started to pay attention to that stuff until they put the actual punish thing in Injustice, where like if you actually punish something, it says punish. And I really like that, because I don't really know if that, like, sometimes I don't know if I actually just punished something or if they just weren't blocking.
Or they just weren't blocking, and you kind of like, you have counter hits and things like that as well, like the little counter or reversal notifications, and they turned it like an Injustice. Everything said counter at first. They're like, well, if it's actually a punish, if you do it while they're recovering, then it's a punish. But it's not like, so that, like you said, it lets you know that you actually did punish. It wasn't because they weren't blocking. But it's not like you got anything off of it. Yeah. Anything special like you do in Killer Instinct or any other game that has counter. This is probably a good segue into Crushing Blows. A counter hit mechanic is long overdue for the Mortal Kombat series. I am so happy. Despite what people may think their qualms about the Crushing Blow system as we know it, a counter hit mechanic is long overdue for this game.
I'm very happy that they have it, actually, and I really like the fact you can only use it once per game. I don't know if other games that have this kind of mechanic are the same. I don't think Soul Calibur is, because like Soul Calibur.
I think that's how they're going to balance it, because they give you a lot off of it.
Because the biggest combo that I did when I was playing with Baraka was 384 damage, but it used 2 crushing blows. So there's like a good damaging combo that I could only ever do once, and it took 2 moves of that maybe I could have used in different situations.
So you see they do the same thing with like Fatal Blow, right? You only get to, it's very powerful, but you only get to use it one time, so you better do it wisely. And if you miss your opportunity to do it the first round, and then you don't have an opportunity to do it the next time, then you went the whole game without using it. Like, it's going to force you to make certain sorts of decisions, and they're giving you a lot for it. Like, I feel like another game. So like Tekken or something, right? You have a normal on. When it hits and it's not a counter hit, it doesn't really lead to anything. But if it is a counter hit, then it can go into a combo. That's all I ever really wanted from it. It looks like they took that idea and gave it some cocaine.
Ooh.
Hey, I like that. I really like that.
Dr. Roxo style.
I mean, they basically introduced rage arts from Tekken. That's what a Fatal Blow is, right? Like, they're trying to do it, they're putting their own little spin on it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And I think that's good. I don't think that's ripping off Tekken at all. I think that is recognizing how cool of a mechanic that is and trying to make it a standard thing in games just in general. Like, Tekken has set that precedent.
I think it's an interesting way to try and balance the game, too, because, like, they deal a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah, like, what is it? Sonya's, how do I always forget? Amplified. Frick, that word just cannot stick in my head. Her amplified projectile, like, it does like 30% if you counter hit with the second hit of it. Like, it's just
is that the onion rings?
Yeah, the onion rings.
Yeah. One time. So you get that one time, and if you do it on accident, well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're throwing that out. You want to kill somebody.
You're good at conversions.
You're just trying to chip somebody out, and you know they're going to duck under it.
I didn't expect you to push a button. Fuck.
And then you wasted your whole crushing blow to take 10 damage off of somebody to get around. But that's like the sacrifice sometimes,
Yeah, and then you got to be careful about using that, because like there's another mind game. Like, what if I accidentally hit my crushing blow, so then you don't enhance it, and then the other opponent knows you can't.
It's a lot to think about, a lot to keep track of, which is good. It's going to reward smart play. It's going to reward good decisions.
Yeah. Not
just throwing stuff out for the sake of it. I mean, you can do it, and it could work out to your favor, but you're really like, I don't know. I'm really excited to see how all this is going to work out once everyone has their hands on the game, and how these sorts of things are going to be implemented and used, how players decide to if it matters or not. Like, they could be just like, fuck it, the damage is the damage, I don't really care what the situation is, while others are really going to be reserving it for like a very specific punish. You've got to read on something, they do it every time in this situation, and you got that crushing blow queued up, but in the meantime, when they're not doing that, you've got to almost avoid it. Like, so you're punishing with a different string, because if you go to your go-to punish, it's going to use your crushing blow or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of it that way. How about the new wake-up system they have? Okay, well, hold on. Let's talk about like the meter change as a whole. Actually,
I love it.
There's a lot to unpack there. I'm definitely with Hater. I love it. What a smart idea. The one thing that I am kind of sad about is I've always been like a stickler for like how to build more meter and stuff like that. So that part of it's kind of disappeared now. But I
gotta think about more meters to build.
That's fine. I love it for a multitude of reasons. For one thing, it's like a cooldown. I come from like an MMO background or something like that, to where I'm used to that, to where things are like, they're timed and you can rely on it. How many times am I playing like MKX and it's like, I'm a pubic hair away from getting my next bar. Am I gonna get this? Am I gonna get it in this conversion? Like, is it gonna be there? And I got to be ready to meter burn it, and it's gonna affect my ender, and I'm gonna fuck myself up. But here, with that you're watching it right in front of your face. You're watching it build, and you know that it's going to be happening. And it sounds like you're going to get different cooldowns depending on what you use the meter for as well, which is going to add to it a little bit more. But I'm the kind of player that gets stuck in pressure all the time. Playing against like Flame Fist or something like that. Just spend my whole life bar dying to chip damage, watching his meter go up because I'm blocking, just trying to find my moment. And then I miss my moment, because I decided to inhale. And I don't know, but I'm not a great player. I'm not the kind of person that can really capitalize on those little moments and stuff. So for people like me, I think it's a brilliant idea, because you're not just going to pressure me to death and build all the bar while I die and earn no bar.
Yes.
I'm all a fan for more defensive options with this game.
Yes.
That's at least like the small amount of time I played like MK11 or MK10. That was one of my gripes about it. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, for example, that's actually my huge gripe. Is I think it needs more defensive mechanics. So I'm all for that shit.
Yeah, I like that they brought out the air escape and they actually they armored it, which is interesting because I know in Injustice 2, how many times you get hit out of an air escape? Like,
yeah, you spend 2 bars just to fall back and just to reset the combo for them.
Yeah, exactly. And then this way you drop down pretty fast, so it's
You might even be able to punish them and recover. If you recover before them, end up getting a punish off of it. Like, it makes you, if they've got 2 bars and you know that's a possibility, you're going to have to be ready for that. You're going to have to respect that if the player that you're playing, if your opponent knows what they're doing.
The air escape was calculated, but boy, am I bad at math.
No, so those...
nice.
So back to the wake-up thing, same thing. I like that it's kind of universal option. It's not like if you're a Melina player, you get the ball. And if you play this character in this variation, this is what it is. Everyone's got the up 2 or the up 3, and they've got the roll forward and the roll back. Like, I love the idea. Because, Dink, you know me, I can't not wake up.
Oh, absolutely.
Now the meter, is it, so I know there's gonna be, a wake-up roll, and there's also the air escape. Is there anything else, like a counterattack? Like if you're blocking and you can kind of try to throw something out?
Block?
Yeah, kind of like a push block or alpha counter.
I don't know with the bar. I think that's what your flawless block is going to be used for.
Well, I would assume the flawless block is going to decrease the amount of frame, like block advance.
Well, you have a follow-up off of it. You spend a bar and do like an up 2 or whatever, from what I understood. What I've seen people saying, like,
your wake up, I think.
you get a legitimate, almost like a reversal out of it, like a predetermined sort of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to be a lot harder than getting like a Just Guard and Soul Calibur. I can get Just Guards pretty consistently. But in this, I don't know. Won't know until we get our hands on it. Until, well, Dink has his hands on it. Did you flawless block? Did you get that deep into it in your 40 minutes?
I got it once by accident.
Right.
And I didn't know what the heck to do off of it because I don't think they had really explained that clearly at the reveal.
Yeah, they just kind of said, it's a thing!
Yeah, they touched on it real quick, but there was so much going on that I just couldn't process it all. And when it happened, I was like, oh, that's the thing that they said on the stage that I didn't absorb.
Yeah,
and,
I think it's like an up 2, like your wake up or something like that. I don't know.
Someone in the fighters as well. Nice.
Ketchup and Mustard made a video about all the mechanics a couple days ago that was really good. It went over everything.
Okay.
I would recommend everybody go watch everything they've released since that reveal. It's full of all sorts of awesome information.
They're the real MVPs here. They've just been killing it since the release.
They hadn't asked me anything on Reddit today, too. Like, they're really acting as, like, the community liaisons. I think that was kind of the point with giving them the extra time, was that they knew that they would be doing this afterwards. It was to create some content, like, not giving them too much time, but knew they'd be taking this away and doing this to kind of, like, right now they're filling in the gaps in between the reveal and when the combat cast starts next week on Wednesday, I feel like.
Right. Oh, I'm excited for that combat cast too.
Hell yeah.
Cabal? Maybe Cabal.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll get a Cabal breakdown and maybe some overall sort of mechanic sorts of things, kind of filling in some blanks from the reveal.
I wonder if that'll be the only character that they reveal there.
When they did Injustice, when they started doing those for Injustice, I think it was... They were pretty consistently doing 2 characters at a time. I could see this one being maybe only Cabal as being the first one and kind of going over more general sorts of things, either how the ladders are going to work or just the mechanics in general as like kind of like the Virgin episode for MK11.
They did have a lot more time with Injustice 2 though to do all that stuff.
Because they announced it a year in advance, right?
Yeah, so
that is true.
Rush now, so.
Well, yeah, and it depends on roster size and all of that. There was 25 slots at the reveal. Who knows what it will be in the end, but I'm guessing we'll have at least about that, high 20s.
Yes, that seems to be pretty consistent with what they did. I'm looking at the main roster here. They're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18.
It's 25.
20 seem about average.
And then you have your DLC, which I think they're like. I'm looking at the shape of like how the main roster is laid out, and it definitely looks like there's slots there for the DLC characters.
Hey, shout out to the new character select screen. We've had 2 games in a row with that double horizontal bar bullshit.
Yeah.
So boring.
Very boring.
We're back. We're back to real portraits and a nice roster select screen in the middle of the
Deadly
screen.
Alliance style again.
It looks awesome.
I don't even
want.
There's a lot of throwback aesthetics to this game.
I'm not one of those people. I just want a solid roster. I don't want a fuck all roster with like 40 characters because I don't want to learn 40 matchups and all the variations in between, like and all of that stuff. Give me a core, like 30 with DLC and all that stuff. 30 something, low 30s or something. Otherwise, it's just. Oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. So much.
That is also assuming that all variations are going to be viable.
Yeah.
True, but that's how they get you sometimes. Nobody plays this.
Yeah.
Think about
that might be interesting though, because what? So they said that they were going to kind of make what they felt is like the most optimized variation, right? So imagine that when they do a patch. And they said, okay, so this one move and this one variation is kind of shitty, so we decided to pull this other move. And
right.
Just swap it out. That might be interesting.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Well, right now the moves either cost, so you have 3 slots, 3 or 4 slots for moves. Is it 3 slots? In the custom variation anyway. Yeah. And your moves are kind of like Injustice. In Injustice you had 2 slots, but some moves were so good they took up both. And it's going to be the same thing. If you watch some of these breakdowns, moves either take up 1 slot, 2 slots, or 3 slots. So something super good, that's the only move that you're going to get in addition to the core move set. And some of the other ones, maybe a little bit more utility, maybe not as powerful, you're going to be able to equip 3 of those, 2 or 3 of those. I think that's how they'll balance it out. That's a big argument for why custom variations should be allowed in tournament and things like that, is that's how they could balance it. This used to cost 1 and now it costs 2. Or this is way too OD. We did not predict people would be using it in this way.
Right.
So now it costs 3. If you can have this move, but you're not going to get anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't really
could be a possibility.
Anticipate them doing it in that
Or
manner.
it swaps out something else. Imagine this is MKX and I'm playing Unbreakable Sub-Zero and I'm like, you know what? I never really meter burn my slide while I have my aura on for the launch. So let me just trade that for like Cryomancer's hammer or something like that. Sounds like that kind of like mix and match.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
I wonder if they'll
ways of balancing it too.
Right.
I wonder how that will also affect just normal moves. You know, some variation, like, what was it, like Cassie, like her, 4-3-4s only on Hollywood, not with the other ones.
Right.
Yeah, because immediately I just think of the special moves where you have to use commands. So that's another thing. I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be certain, certain, like, variation-specific strings or something.
That were like an MKX.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So, we're getting to the end of like the Twitch portion of this because we usually stream. Well, actually, I don't think we ever usually stream, but we usually put a little bit of this will go on YouTube, and then we'll do a little bit for the patrons only. So we're getting close to the end of the Twitch stream. So I took some questions from one of my videos yesterday that I thought that we could all kind of talk about together if you guys are down.
Sure.
So the first one comes from Brian Bridges. He says, my biggest question with the MK11 combo system is the Baraka combo video that Ketchup Mustard did with the combos with critical hits. Can you only do critical hits once per match, and what about meeting the criteria for it? This is the one I want to answer because we went over the rest of it before. How are you going to practice combos that have a critical hit that pops up in practice mode, and what if you drop it, then you can't do that combo again? So
he's talking about crushing blows, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
When he says critical hit.
Yeah, I think that's what he was referring to.
And what's the question? How do you do that in practice mode?
How do you do that in practice mode? So my thought is you're going to have something kind of
There's going to be an option.
Like when you
I think you just set the AI to record.
You could. I mean, but like it would be a lot easier, I think, if they had an option here, like where crushing blows
blow on
or something like that.
Well,
so
yeah.
every
Yeah,
time
or
you do
like
the crush
those-
and blow move, it's
like
Yeah.
a toggle.
yeah, that
Or like counter hit, like turn counter hit on, things like that.
Yeah, so that's like a thing, like in Tekken and Soul Calibur and all of that. Like, give it all of my moves now have the counter hit qualities.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll do it. I mean, Injustice 2's training mode was, like, the practice mode is actually really good. I'm pretty sure they'll. I'm probably
Man.
shooting myself right now, but
I have
interesting.
so many.
I have
so
faith.
many wishes.
I have faith
We
that,
need to
that
be
they're
able
gonna
to
think of it.
use instead of reversals. It just needs to instead of just reversals for like on block in practice mode. They need to give us let us pick a move from the moveset, whether that's a normal or a special. Like you can again in Soul Calibur and things like that.
Yeah, like
Allow it to like poke me, do it down one after
Oh,
you
yeah.
block to see what I can beat.
yeah, that would be
Yeah, they should do
very
something
good.
like that.
Because NRS's practice mode from all the other fighting games I've played seemed to be quite a bit more detailed, like definitely more so than Soul Calibur. Although Soul Calibur does have that one feature that you just mentioned that's really nice. So I can't imagine that they wouldn't add some new stuff to this practice mode to make it even better than the last one, as they did for Injustice 2 coming from MKX, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go to question number 2. Well, this is going to be a fun one. Hunter Zolamom says, what guests do you think NRS is going to put this time? Hashtag Bonehawk.
We were talking about this earlier.
We
It's going to
were.
be, I bet you it's going to be all WB properties again. They're the publisher, so they don't even need to worry about licensing or anything like that. It's how we got Freddy, it's how we got Predator, it's how we got Alien and Leatherface, and so we've
Can
actually
we get Sauron?
We've talked about that a lot in the Discord, and we actually looked up a bunch of stuff. So Michael Myers is a possibility, Pennywise is a possibility. I feel like that's why people are latching on to these ideas as well. They're also WB properties.
I see a lot of people saying Ash Williams, too.
That would be
Well-
fucking cool. Oh my gosh, chainsaw
Well-
hand,
Voldemort.
What?
shotgun and a chainsaw, and just his one-liners. Man, the kind of shit he would talk to Cassie Cage or Sonya. Or Melina, right? How many cool ugly quips against somebody like Melina?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around Voldemort. Why did I never think of that? Like, you just roll on in there, and then you like accidentally say his name, and you just die. Fatality.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the family-friendly aspect as well, right? Because they have all the DC stuff, but are we going to have Batman doing fatalities? That's been kind of the
Yeah.
speculation why we haven't gotten a DC comic book character as DLC is because it's a little too mature for what they're going for.
I think Darkseid
Yeah.
would fit in pretty good. I mean, he wouldn't have a problem killing anybody.
I mean, we've got plenty of graphic novels that are very MA, or even some of the animated stuff they've done that are obviously tailored to our generation, not,
They could put
my
some of the
nephew
more,
or something.
Or they could put like the Vertigo characters. That was DC's kind of like more mature line, like Constantine. I'm still
Yeah,
holding out for Constantine.
And
I think Preacher was also.
did you guys see that AMA with Todd McFarlane, where somebody asked him if Spawn was going to be in Mortal Kombat, and he
And he
said,
said already on the way
yeah,
or something.
already on the way, something like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
who
A
knows?
lot of people want Spawn.
We'll see.
Everyone's been asking for Spawn forever, so I would.
Yeah, which makes me
Yeah.
think we would have kind of had him already. There's probably a lot of logistics, and I hear that Todd McFarlane's not the super easiest to work with.
Right.
So who knows what they're dealing with. So this is the challenge of trying to license a property that's not owned by your publisher versus one that is,
But if-
especially if you have viable options.
If Spawn can get in Soul Calibur, I mean, surely he could get in Mortal Kombat. That's my train of thought, anyways.
Man, that Spawn in Soul Calibur is not that's not my Spawn.
Hashtag not my Spawn.
He was dumb as
Hashtag
shit.
not my Spawn.
Not my Spawn. Dude, if they put Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11, can you imagine, like, his chains and his cape? And, oh,
He
man,
needs
that
to
would
be
be
dark.
so awesome.
His special moves like reduce health.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he uses his essence, right? That's why he uses
Yeah.
guns and stuff like that, is to not kind of tap into his very finite... That was Todd McFarlane's big driving point. Like, he saw Superman as being completely pointless. Like, ooh, kryptonite. Ooh, red sun. Like, but everything else, you can just do everything. And you're impervious to, like, everything else. Like, Spawn is like Superman, Only when he does do everything, it actually drains his source. It's a finite well of power, and if he is too reckless with it, then he just ceases to exist or goes to hell or whatever it is. My canon is not crispy.
Yeah, something like that.
What about
something like that?
What about the Punisher?
Punisher could be cool. That's Marvel, though.
Yeah. Then you're getting all sorts of logistics there.
Yeah, I definitely don't
cool.
think they would put a Marvel character in there.
I'm gonna defer to my earlier statement about guns and all that stuff and Mortal Kombat. Like
somebody mentioned Jackie Estacado from The Darkness. That'd be sick.
Dude, that would be sick.
That'd be so sick. Yo, why stop there? Fucking put Sarah the Witchblade.
There could be there's so many good options. There's so many good options, and it's just inevitably going to lead to disappointment. The last combat pack's going to be announced. It's going to be like, what? Okay.
Looney Tunes. They're going to put Bugs Bunny in there. Yep.
You know, I just saw a tweet the other day. It's like, remember that time that Bugs Bunny shot somebody because they wouldn't stop coughing?
I saw that too. That shit is funny. You won't see that in cartoons these days.
No.
Nah.
So like, yeah, maybe he will be in there. Who knows? Fatality, right?
That's funny. Like, we follow all the same shit on Twitter. Like, we can just say things and
it's pretty great.
we know what we're talking about.
Okay, question
Any other
number
questions?
3. Okay, so we kind of already. How do flawless blocks work against moves that are plus on block? I don't really think it would matter if they're plus on block because you can still get a flawless block on it, right? You just
right.
I
think it takes away. It adds to their recovery frame. So if you're +4, all of a sudden you're -3 or something. Or if you're
so you might not be able to punish it, but you're just taking away their plus for their turn.
Dude, I'm more interested in flawless block on like gaps and stuff.
That's what
I say. Like somebody's got a 1-1-2 and there's a gap in between the 1 and the 2, so you block the first 2, let go of block, and then. Or you block the 1-1, then let go of block, and then flawless block in between that gap and blow them up.
That's actually what I was thinking, because like there was that rumor that the gameplay doesn't got rid of the dial-up combos, which they technically didn't. Like you still have the dial-up combos, but if they all have gaps and you could flawless block within all those gaps, technically
if they do have gaps, right? Hey, if I've got a 1-1-2 with a gap that you're expecting because that's my plus frames. That's bounced out because I also have a string that's maybe not plus. It's a 1-1-4, but it has no gap, and you let go of block so you can flawless block the 2, and you're going to get blown up because you just let go of block and there's no gap for you to block again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just speculating, going off, how other fighting games work. Is it would just decrease the advantage on block. So if someone's like +4, which I think was the same number, and you like flawless defend, then it drops like a frame or 2. So you're actually going to be at like +2 or +3.
I think it's more than that, but remember, it also gives you that reversal. There's those flawless block reversals, so you go like right into a move.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just going off by how other games like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue have done that. That's usually how they work. You just defend, and it just shaves off like a few frames so that you can kind of like squeeze in a punish there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my assumption.
Or they go for something that is even like a little gimmicky on +4, but you kind of have to respect it. But if you flawless block it, they can't do what they're... So if they're not thinking ahead or expecting that, they're going to be surprised by it, and they're already thinking about what they're going to do next, and then here it comes, and they're going to get the shit punished out of it.
Or if they got a frame trap, and you actually just block the plus frames, and then flawless block their frame trap, and then you get a punish because that move was interrupted.
The tides have turned. Man, the mind games.
So many mind games, man. It's kind of intimidating, but I'm ready for it.
Dude, you're just going to have to read your opponent. You're going to have to condition. You're going to have to be... It's going to make ranked infuriating. Oh my gosh.
Hopefully they keep the rank sets. I like the rank sets. But also just, like, the ability to just play, like, a single random match. Because I like that sometimes, too. Sometimes I just don't want to get into a set.
Right.
Okay. We got 2 more questions here. So I want to know what I'll get in the MK11 Premium Edition. Just the first combat pack, or if there's a second combat pack, or both automatically with the premium. That's Abigail Gabriel said that one. I don't think they've talked about combat packs yet at all.
I don't think you ever get in MK. I don't think they've talked about it either. I think they have already said if you go spend the $100 on the premium edition right now, you'll get the extra skins, the extra gear, and you get the first season, for lack of a better term. Mortal Kombat doesn't use that, but every other game does. The first season of DLC. Right. And I think that's all you're going to get. So if there's a second combat pack, I'm not sure that's going to be included. Well, I don't think it was in Mortal Kombat X.
No, it wasn't.
I think the first one was, but the second one wasn't.
In Injustice 2, though, they got 9 characters, I think.
Yeah, in Injustice 2, you got everything by spending the $100.
So it'll be interesting. And I know that you get that Scorpion head statue, which freaking looks dope.
Well, that's with the collectors. If you spend $300 on that,
I'm actually looking at the GameStop page right now. The collectors one doesn't mention anything, but was the question on the premium one?
He said premium,
like the one that you spend $100 on, which is pretty standard.
Like I
think you get the game, 6 or 7 pieces of gear, some extra skins, early access to DLC like they did in Injustice. You get them a week early, they said, which is in line with what they did in Injustice 2, so that seems reasonable.
Feels like when they do the premium edition, NRS seems to do it right. I like what they include with it. It's
the GameStop page actually doesn't even like mention it. It just does the usual. Say you get Shao Kahn and beta access, but nobody wants to pay $100 for Shao Kahn.
That's just pre-order. Period. Anybody that pre-orders any version of the game gets beta access in Shao Kahn.
I think there was a lot of people that were mad because they pre-ordered to get the Injustice 2 beta and didn't get in.
Yeah, I mean, the point of a beta, I think, is they wanted to test the netcode and all of that stuff. I think that it is.
Oh, yeah,
I know that people will not agree with me on this. I don't think it should be guaranteed that you get beta. Or they should do like what Soul Calibur did. Didn't matter if you pre-ordered it or not. Open beta for everybody. Fuck it. Go try out the game for a weekend.
Yeah,
and test our netcode at the same time. I don't care if you pre-order it or not.
I'm sure.
I don't think it should guarantee it.
I'm sure they'll have beta codes to give out to people anyways. But having the open beta was nice to actually try the game to make sure that I like it.
Yeah. Well, according to GameStop's page, they say that the beta codes are while supplies last, whatever that means.
Just order it digitally then. Like,
yeah, right.
Screw you. Are you trying to put yourself out of business? Like,
I know. I kind of feel like they just do that to kind of be like,
because it cut off before we got to finish, I want to answer that one question. Do you guys still have up what's included in the premium edition?
Oh, yeah. I should. Yeah, okay. I've got I'm on the official.
We were talking about after
Mortal Kombat side.
After you crashed, we were actually talking about that. It's like, anyone can just look this up. Why would you waste your perfectly good question? Dink is paying attention to you, and you know he doesn't work for NRS. Don't ask if someone's going to be on the roster. I don't think anybody did, but I've seen that. I saw that all over the Ask Me Anything on Reddit today against Ketchup and Mustard. They're like, we don't work for NRS. I don't know if fucking Johnny Cage is going to be in the game.
That was actually question number 5. Dink, what is your predicted roster?
Dude, I'm so tired of that question. Like, oh my gosh.
Now that especially the time is involved, it could really just go anywhere.
It literally, like, the world is our oyster, mocap.
Okay, so you get the combat pack, you get beta access, and you get Shao Kahn in the premium edition. If you so the pre-order is the beta access and Shao Kahn. So just the premium edition without the pre-order is going to be the base game plus Combat Pack 1. Combat Pack 1 is going to have 6 characters. You get a week early access to all those characters, just like in Injustice 2. And you get 7 unique skins.
And don't forget the gear sets there, hater. It's a great value.
And the gear, what is it, like 3 gear sets or something?
Yeah, I don't maybe?
I didn't see the gear sets when I looked at it just now, just the skins. But they did say unique or exclusive skins, so something that you can only get in that.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can spend 99 cents for them on the PS Store.
And you get an exclusive steel case. Yeah.
If you don't go digital.
If you don't go digital.
One of my favorite YouTubers was bitching about the easy fatalities. That they were hard to do, apparently.
The easy fatalities are hard?
That's why they're easy fatalities.
Yeah.
Dude, I do that shit on accent all the time.
I know, I was cringing so hard when I freaking saw
Oh
that.
no, I
was
spent a consumable. Fuck.
like, oh my god, he killed me.
That's why I like. So another reason why I'm really bad at RPG games sometimes is because I don't use items a lot. So in Mortal Kombat 10, when I saw that the easy fatalities are consumable items, I was like, "Fuck that! I'll just learn how to do the fatalities I want to do."
Yeah, like what the hell?
I'm not gonna waste an item I'm never gonna fucking use.
I literally laughed when I saw the easy fatalities, and I was like, oh man, like, oh, how hard is it to do? Like,
They've already dumbed them down.
Where were these in 1993?
The ones that are annoying are the ones that have like up motion, so you're jumping in the air, so you have to hold
like
block,
Ermac?
but then the button you need to hit. Yeah, Shinnok has one. Shinnok has one too.
Yeah.
Like to where you have to hit block as the actual thing as well, so you have to like block down, up, and then really quickly hit block again, and half the time you just jump up in the air.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing ranked, you see people just jumping up and down. That's what they're trying to do.
I thought they were just reverse teabagging.
No.
reverse teabagging. That's a whole new meta right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the user questions. So this is going to be the end of the YouTube portion of the show. I will have to mash edit this into the other part that we had because my computer is a piece of shit. And that's why I don't pay PC games. Woo! So thanks you guys for watching on YouTube. If you want to see the rest of the podcast, you can head over to Patreon. Links in the description below. We'll see you there.
Accept your death.